The Quran and the split of the moon. Allah said, "The hour is drawing near, and the moon is split in two." Al-Qamar. 1. Meaning of the verse. That Allah Almighty tells that the day of resurrection is approaching, because Muhammad, may Allah's prayers and peace be upon him, is the last of the prophets, there is no prophet after him. That, some people have denied that the moon has split off. They said, the celestial orbits do not change. But denying it is wrong, because if this is proven then Allah is Almighty over everything. Allah Almighty is the creator of the heavens and the earth. If He is the creator of the heavens and the earth, then He is able to separate what has been gathered together and to collect what has been separated. The correct narrations confirm that the splitting of the moon. Recently, NASA scientists revealed the existence of a fissure in the moon that is several hundreds of kilometers long, in addition to discovering a number of cracks on the surface of the moon that they did not know the cause, but some scientists believe that it occurred as a result of the flow of some molten lava. But this explanation is only a point of view. There are a large number of cracks on the moon. Some of these cracks are like solder connections, as if we were in front of a cracked metal surface and then joined together. All what NASA scientists said about these cracks, all suggestions and theories have failed so far to explain these cracks and the way they were welded. Some scientists believe that these connections were formed by molten lava that flowed from lunar cracks. But there is a big difference between, for example, lava flowing on the surface of the Earth and these prominent links on the moon. It's smooth and soft, as if crafted nicely. The lava flow on the surface of the Earth often forms a crater like a crater. But the matter is different on the moon, as these channels or links are very long and retain their width and shape over long distances. This we never notice on the Earth. These lunar channels or lunar cracks appear to be sketched and formed with a skilled hand, as they are smooth and have a smooth bottom. Its ground is fixed and does not resemble any geological topography on the surface of the Earth or other known planets. In a report published by the American Geophysical Union in 1970, the researchers assert that the way these cracks were formed contradicts all familiar theories. One of the important explanations is what the engineer proposes, what is similar to a very violent electric shock, just like a lightning strike, because of electric charges coming from outer space that approached the moon and caused something like a lightning strike, she said. The cracks are then re-welded and the welding of metals by the same electric current. Lack of oxygen in the upper atmosphere. Allah said, "Whomsoever Allah desires to guide, He expands his chest to Islam, submission. Whomsoever He desires to lead astray, He makes his chest narrow, tight, as though he were climbing to heaven. As such Allah lays the scourge on the unbelievers." Al-An'am 125. The meaning of the verse. The verse speaks of that a person who believes in Allah, Allah exposes his chest by faith, and whoever disbelieves in Allah makes his chest very narrow, breathing with difficulty, as if he is rising in the layers of the sky. And the Quranic signal here is in shortness of breath, as we go up to the sky or the atmosphere. Modern science has discovered a lack of oxygen in the atmosphere as we go upwards. Then the person feels tight in the chest and difficulty breathing. And the scientific fact says, the higher a person rises in the sky, the air pressure decreases and the amount of oxygen decreases, which causes tightness in the chest with difficulty breathing. The verse clearly indicates two facts revealed by science. First, the tremendous change in air pressure that occurs when a rapid ascension into the sky causes a person to tighten his chest and embarrassed. Second, the higher a person is in the sky, the lower the air pressure and the less oxygen. This leads to chest tightness and difficulty breathing. In 1648 AD, the famous scientist Blaise Pascal proved that the air pressure decreases as we rise above sea level. In the World Encyclopedia came what he summarized, that the great mass of the atmosphere is not distributed evenly, in the vertical direction, so that 50% of the mass of the atmosphere accumulates, 50%, between the Earth's surface and an altitude of 20,000 feet, 20,000 feet, above sea level. 90% is between the surface of the Earth and a height of 50,000 feet, 50,000 feet, above the surface of the Earth. As a result, the density decreases very quickly as we rise vertically. Even if we reach very high altitudes, the air density reaches very little. 12 The Quran and the accumulated clouds. Allah said, "Have you not seen how Allah drives the clouds, then gathers them and converts them into a mass? Then you see rain coming from the midst of them? And He sends down out of heaven mountains, in which there is hail, pelting with it whom He will, and turning it away from whom He will. The flash of its lightning almost snatches away the sight." And Nur 43. Meaning of the verse: that Allah drives clouds in the sky, then composes it. You see, rain, coming out through the clouds, and from the sky falling, hail, which is the frozen water. Modern science has discovered that clouds are what is required to be electrocuted, and some of them are negative. When the winds push and collect them together, the spark leading to lightning, thunder and rainfalls, which is consistent with the word of the Holy Quran. It has been mentioned on the website, the Islamic World's Web, that the types of clouds are many, and few of them are rainy. Scientists have classified meteorology and clouds into several types, depending on the height and thickness of their base and the way they are formed. One of these types of clouds, called cumulus clouds, is the only one that may develop, Allah willing, to become what is called cloud cumulus, rain. It is the only type that may be accompanied by rain and thunder. It is characterized by a large thickness. It may reach more than 15 kilometers, and looks like mountains. Evolution of meteorology. Use of modern devices, such as remote sensors, aircraft, radars, and satellites. With the help of electronic computers, meteorologists were able to study accurate details of cloud components and their evolution. There is still a lot ahead for this branch of science to continue his study and understanding. Cumulus clouds, whose generous verse describes its composition, is among what meteorologists have studied and are interested in. How does it begin? How does it develop? Associated weather phenomena. The Quran answered all these questions 1,400 years ago, with amazing accuracy. The cloud passes through stages until it reaches the accumulation stage in the following manner. A beginning of training. Cumulus clouds begin when winds move pieces of small clouds to gathering areas. This movement leads to cutting clouds to increase the amount of water vapor in their path, especially the first gathering area. This movement is necessary for the development of cumulus clouds in the gathering areas. B. Assembly. Then composes it. It is known that the speed of clouds is slower than the speed of the winds that travel to it, and the larger the size of the cloud, the slower its speed, due to the effect of drag force. The wind speed also decreases in general as we head to the gathering areas. C. Accumulation. Then it makes it accumulate. If two or more clouds are joined, the upward airstream inside the cloud generally increases, and this leads to bringing more water vapor from below the base of the cloud. This increases the potential energy of the condensation to increase the velocity of the upward airflow, pushing the cloud components to higher heights. Evidence has shown that cloud merger leads to a significant increase in the accumulation and consequently leads to an increase in the thickness of the clouds, as a gathering of first-order merger leads to 10 times the expected rain, and a collection of second-order merger leads to an increase in the amount of predicted rain without any cloud collection. 13. The solar and lunar calendar. Allah said, "And they stayed in the cave 300 years, and to that they added 9 more." Al-Kahf 25. Meaning of the verse. Allah speaks of the people of the cave that they stayed and slept in it for 300 years, and then He said and increased 9. That is, 300 years on the solar calendar, and 309 on the lunar calendar. The difference between the two calendars is 9 years. It is known an astronomer. The difference between the solar and lunar year is 10 days, 875,137, so that in every 33 years there is a difference of 358 days, or about a year. Moreover, every 100 years exceed 3 years. The 300 solar years will be matched by 309 lunar years. This is the exact calculation of astronomers, 6 numbers after the comma. This cosmic truth is a constant to which modern science is assured. 14 passages the sky and its texture. Allah said, and the recompense shall surely happen. Asterisk by the heaven with its passages. At-Thariyat 6-7. Meaning of the verses. Allah will swear to heaven with passages, and passages is a well-made fabric. Dr. Al-Kohail says in the Encyclopedia of Miracles, scientists take the first picture of the cosmic strings that connect the galaxies together in the tissue of your love with amazing tightness, which raises the astonishment of the scientists. In a new research published by the American Journal of Nature, the 19th of January 2014, scientists were astonished when they saw the tight cosmic web in a new image that shows the accuracy and complexity of weaving these galaxies. It is the largest cosmic cloud ever seen. Scientists say they were able to take a real photo for the first time showing part of the tissue that connects galaxies. Despite the long distances separating us from this knitting. However, we were able to see it thanks to high-gloss stars called flashlights, that is, flashlights. The presence of a bright lamp near this cosmic thread, and thanks to intense lighting, scientists saw a portion of this dazzling fabric. The cosmic passages image that scientists saw through computer simulations. The red dots are galaxies. Each galaxy contains billions of stars. As for the glowing yellow dots, they are clusters of galaxies. Each gathering may contain tens or hundreds of galaxies. Glory be to Allah. The mind is unable to surround this fabric. So how about if our minds want to imagine who Allah is? 15. The Quran and the theory of relativity. Allah said, He directs the affair from heaven to earth. Then it will ascend to Him in one day, a day whose value is 1,000 years by your reckoning. As Sajda 5. Meaning of the verse. The commentator said, Allah brings revelation with Gabriel from heaven to earth, and then ascends, that is, Gabriel ascends the matter to him on a day of 1,000 years of what you count, i.e. on one day in this world. Its distance is 1,000 years, 500 descent, and 500 its ascension, because between heaven and earth 500 years. These years have been mentioned in other verses, as Allah Almighty says, they ask you to hasten the punishment. Allah will not break His promise. Each day with your Lord is like 1,000 years in your reckoning. Al-Hajj 47. That is, Allah makes the unbelievers today 1,000 years worth of human beings. Allah said, to Him the angels and the Spirit, Gabriel, ascend in a day, the measure of which is 50,000 years. Al-Ma'arij 4. That is, the angels ascended as Gabriel, peace be upon him, to Him, that is, to Allah the Exalted, the Majestic, on a day it was 50,000 years old. He says, the amount of their ascension in a day for others of creation was 50,000 years, and that is that it ascends from its utmost from the bottom of the seventh earth to the end of its command, from above the seven heavens. Dr. Zaghlul al-Najjar spoke about these verses and Einstein's theory of relativity. He said, the phrase, a day with your Lord is like 1,000 years of what you count, does not need an explanation, as it is a comprehensive statement. Its meaning that no rational person disagrees is that the day is with Allah justifying 1,000 years we have humans. As for the phrase, on a day that was 50,000 years old, there is no evidence for the two times divine time and earthly time. It is not mentioned in the verse that includes the phrase, from what you transgress. As for the day that was 50,000 years old, it is not necessarily the same as the divine day, or the day with Allah, which amounts to 1,000 years from what we humans are considered. The concept of relativity of time lies in the phrase, and that a day with your Lord is 1,000 years of what you pass. There is no such phrase in terms of clarity on this subject. Dr. al-Najjar discovered the origin of the concept of relativity of time that Einstein brought in that Quranic phrase. When Einstein, origin is the following: time slows down in every body, or frame of reference, accelerates, or in every body its attractiveness is greater, or the curvature of the space around it becomes stronger. With every acceleration, time in the accelerating body slows, so the day in it modifies a year, 1,000 years, or a million years, on the planet Earth. With each increase in the attractiveness of the body, time slows down as well. Einstein's relativity of time is proportional only to the body, that is, in matter, that is accelerating, or that magnifies the curvature of the surrounding space. The statement of Quranic verses lies in it, the basis of the concept of relativity of time, which Einstein created and developed. Rather, it is blasphemy itself, for the divine self is not, first, an object, and is not affected, then, acceleration, and gravity. Einstein's time is only the fourth cosmic dimension, which is organically related to the three spatial cosmic dimensions, which are length, width, and height, or depth, or thickness. And when you talk about something, today he has 1,000 years of what we count. But this means that you are talking about an object that slows down with time. The thing with which time slows down is only the thing in which, and those around it, bend, space-time, meaning its time and united place bend an inextricable union. Saying, relativity of time, with Allah loses its meaning if not combined. By saying his, relativity of space, relativity of time, is an integral part of relativity of space. These years mentioned in the Quran correspond to what modern science calls, light year, meaning, the distance that light travels within 1 year. Light has a velocity of its own, just like anything that is able to move, at least as we understand it, and it is a unit. A measurement that is used for very large and far distances, such as the distance between Earth and stars in light years. A light year is defined as the distance light travels in 1 year. The speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second. At this speed, the light travels 18 million kilometers per minute. This is called the optical minute. The distance traveled by light in 1 year is 9,460,730,472,580,800 meters, meaning that it is 9.461 trillion kilometers, or 5.878 trillion miles, or 63,241.077 astronomical units. Dr. Regab Abdulnazir.